Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out another track from an act named eNuminous and Archimedes titled Lovecats, cover of The Cure. If we switch over to here, we have a really interesting track to listen through today, predominantly for the reason that apparently this has been AI generated using huggingface.co/spaces. So AI has assisted with this track, if I understand it correctly, because I've checked out material from eNuminous and Archimedes before. It's using similar AI tech as with the previous releases that I reviewed, except with this one has an a cappella vocal track recorded and put into the AI. Then it superimposed the music that came out of that. Basically, as I understand it, with this track, the AI is singing with the vocoded vocals, if that makes sense. It's singing with the person who sang the parts that the AI is working with, if that makes sense. I'm getting my head around it slowly. This has been an interesting journey that we've had so far, but we're going to listen through this track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Just to clarify, the video was also made, the video itself was made by the huggingface.co thing. So the video was AI generated, and parts of the music were AI generated. There's a lot of really cool stuff, futuristic tech going on here. I mean, it's very chaotic, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of different melodies and different ingredients going on within this mix. The vocals and the synths sound quite nice. There's like a swishy-wishy kind of synthy thing going on the right side with the vocals in the center field. The left side is a little bit more laid back. It's an interesting panning effect we got here. It's very pleasant to listen to. There's an overall major tonality to this. I mean, like, honestly, if you were to tell me, Logan, this was made by a computer or like by AI, or it was AI generated, I wouldn't necessarily be upset about it, because I think that there's also some music that I hear that comes from people that sounds like this, you know? It's very unsettling. The video is pretty wild though when you look at like the cat and stuff like that, but the cat's like a Lovecraftian kind of creation there with the bus and everything like that. We can have each other together. I mean, there's several motifs that I'm appreciating here. I like the da 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 da, and we've flown through this track quite well. I mean, like the different sections sequence into each other nicely. There's minimal. I'm just getting my head around how this was made. I mean, like, it sounds like we had an idea and we're like, right, what more can we do with it? 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 And we just I think the AI found a way to flesh it out and build it. We had some wide vibratos at some points. I don't know if that was based off of the vibrato and the vocals or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of questions that I have. And it finished. Okay. All right, I mean, because this is my conclusion for Lovecats cover of The Cure by eNuminous and Archimedes. What do we want to say about this? No, what do we want to say about this that would be conducive to a productive conclusion to a review? Because I don't even know if I've really reviewed it. My reaction to the initial listen through was perplexion. I was perplexed by it. Perplexion? I don't know what that is. I feel as if we're getting to a point with music now where we have fine-tuned the organic part of it so much that we're obviously venturing into the realms of what robots and AI can do. And I think that's great. I think it's fantastic to see what happens when you have those varieties of inputs and you let it come up with something truly unique as a combination of those. I've grown up with computers becoming more mainstream, more readily accepted within music production. I started getting into production around the early 2010s, when we started to get the VST plugins that actually sounded semi-decent. And then, here we are today in 2022. We have entire mastering suites that are done via AI, Let's get Ozone Pro and then boom, you're sorted. This track, what was it about? Well, I think it was a cover of The Cure. So it's actually a cover of the song by The Cure. It's a legitimate cover, but it's reinterpreted via AI off of the vocal melody of it, as I think I understand it, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am. And it's something that's quite unique to me. The vocals were modulated enough that sometimes I heard the lyrics clearly and sometimes I didn't. I'm not sure if that was more of a stylistic thing or us thinking we had the right amount of vocoder going on in there, but I think this is so beyond what I'm used to with these reviews that I'm not really sure how to comment on it. I think that it was a great sound, great texture to it. I'm not sure if we were totally loyal to the original melodies sung within the vocal parts of the original or not. So it's very, very different. Very, very different. There's still a funkiness to it that's similar to what we had with the previous one, but obviously the interpretation of the original is different here. This one's kind of broken me a little bit because I don't know whether we're trying to be our own original sound or even if that's a consideration here Yeah, how do you review this? Do you review it based on the quality of it, or do you marvel on the fact that it occurs in the first place? Part of what I try and do, especially with covers, is I go, how genuine is this to the original? And does it either elevate it beyond the original, or is it different than the original, or is it obviously not as good as the original? And that's already subjective enough, but when you have an AI interpretation of it, that's a whole nother level of it, because the AI I don't even know if the AI knows how to make something better or worse than the original track. It's just doing what it does, if that makes sense at all. The structure of it, I suppose, is recorded with the vocals from the original track that were recorded by eNuminous and Archimedes. So I suppose it followed that structure similarly. And then of course we had the instrumentation where there were a lot of synth sounds and some sort of faux vibrato guitarish kind of sounds. I'm just trying to figure out how you'd even tell it to go, oh, play some drums or put a bass sound here. There's a lot of mid-range energy in this one, which makes it sound kind of wishy-washy and kind of reverby and kind of spaced out. And I think it's a fantastic experiment into what's possible with this type of technology. I've got nothing but love for the fact that they, you know, the eNuminous and Archimedes, they branched out with this way of... I just feel like I'm almost unqualified to really discuss it. I think that the only way to really sort of like critique something is to... Because a lot of the critique that I have goes towards a person playing it. But how do you criticize an AI? You know, it's not... How do you tell an AI what it should do differently next time? When the point of it is that it's meant to be its own original journey using the existing inputs in the first place. It's literally doing the absolute best it can with what it's got. There were lots of interesting sort of simple melodic ideas that branched out and layered effectively, and there weren't any points where it sounded nasty or clashy or anything like that. It's not like I listened to the thought, oh, that didn't make musical sense, but I can't help but think that's because simply it was designed to not do that. And that's wild to me, because it's like, what is the scope and the range of this technology? Where is the point where it will hit that wall and go, okay, this is what it is, and what happens the moment an AI learns how to do stuff but not the right way? You know what I mean? The production compression listening, the production was absolutely fantastic. I've got no complaints about it. The vocals were a little bit present in the mix there, but that's also okay. Again, I can't tell, man. I haven't had this much of an existential crisis as a reviewer since probably I started. You know, it really makes me feel, you know, what if robots learn how to review music? Will there be music reviewers left? The moment that you have AI starting to learn how to be quote-unquote creative is the moment where the world is going to turn on its head. There is going to be some really wild, crazy, twisted stuff that comes out of it. And by twisted, I don't mean in a bad way necessarily. What I mean is it will just be beyond our comprehension, because, you know, if it gets to the point where they have the unlimited sort of inputs there to be able to do that, I mean, yeah, I don't even know what's going to happen next. This has not been my best review, I'll be honest. It's been more of a reaction, and even then I've been more in sort of incredulity than anything else. I'm impressed by it, even though I've like read a description or an explanation about what the track is about. And don't even get me started on the video. Like, this is some of the most creative out there stuff I've seen in my entire life. Like, where do you go from here? How much, in 10 years time, how much of entertainment is going to be AI generated? And how much is going to be stuff that people made? You know, you've already got people that are putting like artwork from like AI generated images and stuff like that. And it's come in a small space of time. Where are we going to be in 10 years time? I'm going to think on that, but in the meantime, thank you very much for watching my review of Lovecats, which is a cover of, again, The Cure by eNuminous and Archimedes. My review of that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to see if I can edit this into something at least mildly professional and palatable. If you enjoyed this, please do go show eNuminous and Archimedes some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. I see the hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.